everybody. It's Terry Schultz, and I'm Legally Crafty, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming to you from Aledo, Texas. And yes, we are frozen today. It is Friday, February 4th, and like a lot of the country, we had weather come in, but in Texas, we don't know how to handle it. So I haven't had to work for the last 2 days, or I work for a university and it was closed, and so that's been nice. I hope you all are staying warm. I wanted to talk to you about Sale-A-Bration. I've been missing in action for a little while. A lot of things went on in my life in 2021, and so I wasn't able to do a lot of crafting, but I hope I'm back and gonna try to start being more consistent. But it's currently our Sale-A-Bration time, which now happens 2 times a year. So this one is halfway through. As you can see, it ends February 28th. So that's about 3 weeks from now. So I wanted to show you a project with a really cute celebration item. There's just lots of really cute things in here, papers and stamp sets, and this is the one that I'm going to show you today. Now this free item comes with this stamp set and this pack of 12 by 12 paper, and so you get this free for a $100 purchase. So if you spend $100, you'll get this free with this stamp set and this pack of paper. And I just love the colors in the papers. You can see some projects on the next page of the Sale-A-Bration brochure. And so we're gonna do some stamping with this stamp set, and we're gonna use this paper today. And the card template that I'm using, or the layout, I saw with Crafty Owl on one of her sheet load of cards presentations. And so this is the card we're going to make with this stamp set. And we're also going to use a set of dies, this set of dies right here, that is tags. It's called tailor-made tags. And so you get these 2 different shapes of tags in 4 different sizes each, and then these cut out some little like stabilizers or something that goes over the hole in the tag, which are pretty cool. So we're using these tags today, and then this stamp set that I already showed you in the catalog. I just love it. It's got some really nice sentiments. Hope you have the best birthday, and that's the one we're going to use today. Hello Friend is awesome. So, and just the sweet little bird stamp. I just think this is a great set. So you have 3 more weeks to get this by spending $100. You can go to my online store. The link is on my blog. And I'll try to link it below this video, but I don't always have success in getting that linked in YouTube. But on my blog, which will be linked below, you can find a link to my store, and you can get spend $100 and get this with this pack of paper for free, which is a really awesome deal. You can do so much with this paper. You can't get them separately, unfortunately, but let me just show you some of these papers. So you have Pool Party, I think it's Granny Apple Green, yes, Fresh Freesia, Petal Pink, and Shaded Spruce. So there's some great, this is Petal Pink, some great colors in here. And then on the back side, there's some kind of subtler patterns. I love that one with the Pool Party. And then there's some with more of an outline look in there, like you could stamp some of the stamps in black on these, and you can just see how sweet some of these patterns are. And that one's really nice. And then that one with the Granny Apple Green. This one has all the colors in it. And then this one, I don't know if we've looked at it before, with that backing. So this is just a really great pack of paper and really fun to work with. So let's get started on the project. And I'm starting with a card base of fresh freesia, and I'm just gonna fold that over in half. This is 5.5 by 8.5. Just gonna fold that over like that and burnish that edge with my bone folder. And so that's ready to go. And then I've got a piece of the pattern DSP. And this is, I can't remember now because it's been a while. Looks like 4.5 by 3.25. And so that's gonna go just right on here. And then I have the tag that I cut out with the tag, and we're going to glue one of these little stabilizers on the tag, and I'm just gonna use some liquid glue for that because that is really easy to use, especially on these smaller pieces. And I forgot to kind of get my glue started, and this glue feels like it's a little low, but let's see if we can get it to work. So how are you all doing? I hope you've had a great start to your year. I had a good start to my year, and I went and spent 2 weeks up in Kansas with my parents to help. My mom had knee replacement surgery, so, and she's the one who does all the cooking for them. I was worried my dad wouldn't be able to eat if somebody didn't come cook for him. So that's one reason I went. And then my dad has been having back problems too, so I wanted to not put a lot of strain on him to try to help her. So I'm gonna move that off of there because I got a little bit heavy-handed on the glue. It looks like it's squishing out a little bit. But the good thing about this glue is that it dries clear, so you're not going to see it if you've got any little leftover. And then the other reason I like using the liquid glue is that you can add a little bit of time to move things around to get it where you want it. So that's that piece, and we're gonna tie, and you can see we're gonna tie a piece of the black gingham ribbon, which I'm gonna grab if I can see it. I didn't have it on my table. And I have rearranged my craft room a little bit, and there is hot air blowing straight on me, and I am not a fan of hot air. I'd rather be cold. So I'm not liking it. I might have to rearrange my room again. So in my sample card, you can see I used for the little tag piece here, or banner piece, I used this, which I thought would look nice because it's just the same petal pink, but with the black outlines on it. But I didn't think it stood out enough, so I pulled a piece of Pool Party, and this is just 1 inch by 3.5 inches. And I'm just gonna banner cut that one of those ends with my Pick a Banner punch, which is this one right here, which is awesome. You've got 2 different banner ends. You can pick which side you want, which end you want, or what kind of end you want, and it'll fit. It's got little grooves here, and I've marked it so I remember it fits a 1/2 inch or a 3/4 inch or a 1 inch piece within these grooves, and you can just slide it right in inside those grooves there as far as you want. And I've got that right up to the end. You can kind of see that in there. And then I'm just gonna punch that, and I've got a banner, which is nice. But if you don't have a punch like that, we have other punches that you could use to make a banner end like that, or you can just cut it with your scissors. You just cut up from the middle, just cut up from the middle, and then from each corner to where you cut it, and that's an easy way to make a tag. So this is going to go right under this piece and to the end of the card. So we've got all of those pieces. So now we need to do some stamping, and we need to stamp the little bird, which I'm going to stamp. Here's the bird stamp right here. And this is a photopolymer set, as you can see. So I'm going to use Memento ink because I'm going to use my Stampin' Blends to color this bird in a little bit. and Stampin' Blends make it really super easy. And I think I don't have that. And when you use photopolymer stamps, it often helps because they don't have that layer of cushion under them that the rubber stamps do, to use a Stampin' Pierce mat, or I've just got mine covered, to use a Stampin' Pierce mat or something that gives it that little cushion to help it get a nice image. So I'm just going to stamp that onto a scrap of white, basic white paper, and I am going to close that for now, and then I'm going to go ahead and color this, and we're going to fussy cut it out. So, and maybe I could have done that ahead of time, but I didn't. So I need to grab my colors, so pardon me for just a second. Pool Party, and I think I used Crumb Cake, and maybe a little Petal Pink, which is this one maybe. No, that one. This one. So I need to do like some other demonstrators and mark mine on the ends, because sometimes it's hard to tell. So I have Fresh Freesia, and I have Pool Party and Petal Pink, and those match the colors in the papers. And oh, I need a green. And then Crumb Cake, and I'm gonna grab, I can't remember what, I think I did use Granny Apple Green here. So let me grab Granny Apple Green, because that also matches the paper. And so I'm gonna start with the flowers, and I'm gonna start with Fresh Freesia, if I can get the lid off. And I'm just gonna start by using the darker Fresh Freesia and just go over kind of the lines provided in the flowers. And that'll help give us, that helps kind of tell you where the shading, where it could be darker, and then go lighter out towards the end. And this really helps me because I'm not an artist, not a drawing kind of artist, so shading and all of that I didn't ever really get. When I took art in school, I just didn't get it, and I didn't get along with my art teacher very well for that reason. And then I married an art teacher, so isn't that funny? So now I'm going back in with my light Fresh Freesia, and I'm just kind of coloring that in above there, above kind of the darker, just to kind of pull it up a little bit, and it'll be lighter toward the top. And once it kind of dries, these are alcohol based markers, so once it kind of dries, you'll be able to kind of see the difference in the shading maybe a little bit better. But once I finish with this one, I'm going to go back in with my darker one and kind of add some more shading just to kind of give it a little bit more contrast. So, and I think that looks pretty good. And I didn't go all the way to the ends, just to give it just some, it's not necessary to kind of color in every bit. If you want to just leave a little bit of white space, that's fine. These kind of spread out because they're alcohol based, so it gives you a little bit of leeway there on your image. So there's that one, and I'm gonna go ahead and do the leaves, and this is dark Granny Apple Green, because I'm really just kind of going over where the veins are here. And so I just went ahead and did those in green. I guess I could have done those in Crumb Cake as well for the veins, but I like it like that. Now I'm gonna go in with my Crumb Cake and kind of do the, I'm doing a dark Crumb Cake here in a couple of places on the branch. And then I'm gonna go in over that with my light Crumb Cake. And I'm doing the bird last because I'm a little bit afraid of the bird. that's the one where I don't get the shading quite so well. I don't understand it. So I'm gonna go in on my bird with a little bit of light crumb cake first. And I did it differently the first time. I kind of wanted some pool party in my bird. I thought that would be pretty. And I didn't really get the effect I was going for. But I think my bird looks nice in my sample. I mean, I've used some color lifter to kind of soften some of the colors. And I'm gonna use now a little bit of this petal pink, just kind of on my bird's head and belly. And I'm not really trying to shade too much at this point. I'm just trying to get some color on there. I'm gonna do a little bit of pool party now, kind of on his belly. And this is the darker one first. I'm just kind of going around the edges to give it some shading. And I'm gonna go in with my lighter pool party here and kind of work that in. And the nice things about these colors, pool party and petal pink, is they're really light shades, and so they're really nice. So I think that looks pretty nice. And I just put a little bit on the wings as well to get a little bit of color in his wings. And I don't know. So I think that, try to pull that down a little bit so it's a little more mixed in there. And that's where I kind of use the color lifter to kind of soften that blue color. But I'm going to go in with my dark petal pink, can't remember which one I used before, and kind of add a little bit of that in there. I think I had some petal pink down here. So now I'm going to grab my color lifter. Yeah, so this is a color lifter, and it's kind of clear. I think it might be just straight alcohol, and kind of just go over some of that to lighten some of that color. And mine's a little really juicy, and so I think that's how I got the effect on this bird that I got, was just the juiciness of my color lifter. And you can see how it's making my bird's head bleed a little bit. But hey, he's got some fur, some feathers sticking up there, I think. So I'm going to go back in with my dark, what is this, crumb cake, and get a little more color in there, and then go over that with the light one again, just to kind of lighten it up. But I don't think you can really go too wrong with these. I mean, I think you get a bird that might, I mean, I would think that was a pretty bird if I saw it out in the wild. I'm gonna add a tiny bit of this because I've got some feathering there, and that's because my color lifter is really juicy. So I'm gonna go ahead and fussy cut this. And that won't take too long. It's a pretty easy image to cut. And when I fussy cut, I try to kind of keep my scissors in more of the same angle and move my paper to get the cut. And I leave a little bit, you can see a little bit of a white edge around the image. So we'll kind of see what that looks like with the feathering on the bird's head. But I think it's okay. We'll go with it. I think it just looks like he's got some little downy feathers kind of sticking up from his head and his body. Maybe he's just maybe he's a baby. So, and he's just got some downiness to him. I'm gonna cut that piece off there because that's getting in my way. That got a little rough there, but I'll come back and clean that up. So, and see with that little line around it, it kind of makes that more forgiving. You can't really tell as much what you've got going on there. So, man, this hot air blowing on me is just really hot air, and I don't like it. So, personally, I prefer cool air blowing on me. I always have a fan blowing on me in my bedroom because I'm always hot. And I'd rather have cold air and get under, you know, a blanket or something than have hot air blowing straight on me. That just makes me hot. So I don't know how you all feel about that, but I freeze my husband out of the bedroom because I've got the overhead fan on and the fan that's on my side of the bed that blows right on me, and I keep the temperature in there pretty low, like 69 as preferable, or even 68. We have our bedroom has a separate zone for air from the rest of the house, so I like the rest of the house to be pretty cold as well, but we don't keep it. But I'm upstairs in my craft studio, and so the upstairs also is zoned differently, so it's definitely got hot air blowing straight at me right now. So this setup maybe isn't the best setup for my room, so I'm gonna have to rearrange, I think. So we've got our little bird cut out, and we're almost ready to assemble our card. I am going to stamp the sentiment, which is hope you have the best birthday, and I'm going to use this Memento ink again, and I'm stamping it pretty close to the left edge here. And the great thing about photopolymer is that you can see through it, and so you can tell. I kind of got that off the top of the edge, so I'm going to try that again on the back side. And pardon my head while I try to get in here and make sure I've got it on the paper. But you can get it straight, and you can tell exactly where you're putting your stamp. So I think that's a little bit better. I'm going to clean that off and clean my other stamp off while I'm at it. And I'm just using my Simply Chamois to clean it off, and it's just wet with water, and then you can just kind of wipe your stamp on it and it cleans it off really well, and it's a really awesome tool. You can get those. I'll have a link in my blog post to that. So I'm also going to banner the end of this piece, which is, looks like it's maybe a slightly bit more than 1/2 inch. And I've got it to the edge here, and I want to get it, make sure I've got it in there straight, because it's it's between 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch. So I'm going to make sure that's in the middle, and then I'm going to pull that back a little bit because I think I got too close. Yep. So I got a little bit too close to the end with my stamping there, but I'm going to go with it for this. And then I stamped this little flower image kind of on the edge there, and I used my black ink for that and colored that in with my Fresh Freesia blends. So I'm gonna stamp that here, and that was just to give me, you know, just a little bit of something on the edge there. Clean that off. Pardon my arm. Let me color that with the Fresh Freesia blends, and it's a little hard to open. I'm just putting a little bit of dark in there, and then I'm gonna go in with the light and kind of blend that out. So we've got that, and I'm gonna cut that off. And I want it to be, I'm gonna give it a little slightly bit more cut a little bit longer than maybe I need, and then I can cut it off from there. Or maybe I should have just put it on the card and cut it off from the edge, but that's okay. So let's assemble our card now that we have all of our pieces. So the first thing I'm going to do is, as you can see, I stamped a little bit on the card base just to have some images there behind the DSP, and I'm stamping that in Fresh Freesia, and I'm using this little double flower image. And so I'm just kind of stamping that up in the corner like that, and then I'm going to do it down in the other corner, kind of like this. Maybe I'll flip that. Yeah, I think I did. Flip that so it's a little bit different. And so put that there. And then I didn't do this on the other card, but I'm going to take this little image. Let me find my stamp set and show you where I put my stamp set. I put it over here. I'm going to take this little bit of just splatter, and I'm going to put some of that kind of up here in the corner as well, because I think that just adds some interest to the card. And I might go kind of along the edge like that as well, just a little bit. And this is just Fresh Freesia ink on Fresh Freesia cardstock. So now that we've got that, I'm going to put this piece of DSP on with just some liquid glue. And just like that, and kind of center it on there. I think that looks really good. And then I am going to go ahead and, I can't remember how I did this bow, tie this ribbon on here, and I'm gonna come through the back, and I'm just gonna tie a knot, and then I'm gonna make a bow. So, and I usually leave it connected to my spool just to try to be a little bit more efficient with the amount that I use, so I get the size that I want, and then I can cut off that end, cut off this end the length that I want. And I do have a pair of scissors, a separate pair of scissors that's marked for my ribbon so that they stay sharper. And I'm just going to do that. And so there's my ribbon. And so I think that looks really cute. I love that gingham ribbon. I'm going to place this on my card with some, I gotta find my regular size. I'm finding all my small dimensionals. This one's regular size, so I'll just use it. This is a sheet, I think, well, let's put it on them on the correct side. This is a sheet, I think, that came with a paper pumpkin or something, and so you always have, if you subscribe to Paper Pumpkin, you know that you always have more dimensionals and glue dots on the sheets than you're going to need for the projects in Paper Pumpkin, which is kind of nice, because then you'll have extras to use with your other projects. So, and that air is making me so hot. And so I'm just going to pull the backings off of these and attach this to my card. Oh, before I do that, I want to attach this behind it. So I've got that up. Let me do that with some glue, liquid glue. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue on there. And then this is gonna go maybe about 3/4 of an inch to an inch up from the bottom of the DSP that's on there. And then I'm gonna put this down on top of it, like so. And I think I like how that stands out a little bit more. And then I'm putting my bird kind of on here. So I'm gonna put a little glue dot. I'm gonna get one of my minis and put it just on, because this is popped up on this, so the part that's hanging off of here I'm gonna put with a dimensional, and then I'm gonna put just a little bit of glue on this other part of him so he'll stick to my tag. And I'm just kind of putting him on there. Looks like, so it looks like he's sitting on the branch. And then I'm gonna do the same with this one, and I want to cut just a little bit. I think I'll place it where I want it, and then I'll cut it off. I'm gonna put it a little bit closer here to the edge, and I'm gonna put again a little glue dot on the end that is on the paper, and then I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on the other part of it, like that. And I'm gonna place that kind of right here. And I did kind of curl the end up on that end, so there's a little bit of dimension. And then I'm just gonna cut that off using the edge of the card as a guide. And so there's the outside of our card. Isn't that cute? I just love that little bird and this paper and this stamp set. So on the inside of my card, I'm gonna put a piece of white cardstock, and before I glue it down, I just got ink on me, I'm gonna just stamp, and I only stamped one of these little flowers in the corner on my sample card, so I'm gonna just do that. You can see the other part of it, and then I'm taking my little splatters and I'm gonna just put some splatters around it, because I think that makes it look really cute, gives it a little bit of dimension here. And you can overlap those a little bit, and I think that looks really cute. So I'm just gonna go, I don't want those bumps there. All right, I think that looks great. I'm just putting a little bit lighter ones there. So I'm gonna close up my ink pad now that I'm done with it, and I'm going to glue this to the inside of my card. So, do you guys always decorate the inside of your cards? I don't always. Sometimes I'll just put the white piece in there. But it's nice to have a little bit of stamping, or sometimes I put a strip of the DSP along there or something like that, or a sentiment inside. I don't always put a sentiment, but I think that is super cute. So you guys tell me, do you like it better with this pool party tag behind it or the petal pink? Again, I think it just didn't show up enough for me in the petal pink, so I like the pool party, and I like the little bird. I think it's just a really cute card, and I love this layout. Again, I found the layout from Crafty Al on one of her sheetload of cards videos, and I think it's a really easy layout to adapt to any stamp set you want to use. And you wouldn't need to use the tag dies like I did. You could make this a rectangle right here. You could make it any shape you wanted to, and you could use anything on the card, any stamp set that you have if you don't have this one. So that's my card for today. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a great rest of your week and weekend, and I will see you next time. Bye.